All right, this is episode 16 of the Wrestling Roundtable podcast, where we talk about all things professional wrestling. And we're coming to you on a kind of a sad day because one of the most popular, one of the funniest performers in WWE history has inexplicably been let go. Ryan Hall, I got Dominique LaRue here with us, and man, the wrestling world was hit with let's just say a giant power bomb when R-Truth announced on his social media that he had been released from WWE. I mean, I'm just not really sure what to think about this.
Me neither. Uh, it was a devastating blow to the whole community. Even the wrestlers that work with him in WWE and even outside of WWE. And obviously we know releases happen and people move on and go to different promotions and different things, uh, like rap or movies or whatever the case may be. But like this one hurts more because number one, this wrestler seemed like he wasn't close to being that. Like obviously he wasn't
Huh.
used like that, like in big important matches or winning championships or whatever. But to me, I feel like R-Truth was like the glue of WWE in a sense because you could do so many things with R-Truth. He could be the icebreaker. He could be the, comedy relief when stuff gets too serious. Um, he's the emotional drama because, like, it's not a person in the wrestling community, like, obviously think he was gonna win the title, but at the same time, like, all of us was cheering him on. Like, we wanted
Absolutely.
the possibility to happen. And I mean, like, it's funny. Obviously, it's funny that, he was talking about John Cena being his childhood hero or whatever. But with him, it made sense in the storyline that they was trying to give us. Like, we go back to our earlier episodes and like the whole storyline of is John Cena Darth Vader, when he went evil and like he needed something to pull him out of that. Well, in Star Wars, if anybody ain't seen it, spoiler alert, but in Star Wars, Darth Vader is Luke Skywalker's father. So, uh, if you've seen the preludes, the prelude movies, the ones that came out later on after Star Wars, they showed how Darth Vader became, how Skywalker became Darth Vader, and then in the older Star Wars, it shows that Luke, he wants to be a Jedi. He, is ironically featuring all the characteristics as his father, which he didn't know who he was until like the last one. And Luke was the one that actually pulled Darth Vader out of the dark side. So that could have been our truth could have been that, but they just give him that one big squash match. We know he wasn't gonna win the title, and then you release him. And his t-shirt is the number one selling shirt.
I mean, because isn't that what this is all about? It's about making money.
Yeah,
Because I mean, think about this, right? Think about this. What is our truth? What is he? 52, 53, something like that.
53.
He's in his early 50s. Looks like he's about 35. Um, he had a nasty injury a few years ago that almost landed him in a wheelchair.
They almost
Um,
had to amputate his leg.
yeah, yeah, no, they almost had to cut his leg off his body. And, you know, I just like I don't understand. I really don't understand. Was he a main eventer? Was he a candidate to headline WrestleMania 42? Absolutely not. But at the same time, not only, Tom, not only do, does everybody who has worked with the guy absolutely love him? But he still gets huge reactions when he comes out. He still gets, he still sells tons of merchandise. I mean, the t-shirt, he's constantly in the top five, if not the top t-shirt, especially with this whole Ron Cena from, he was in a headline match on national TV just last weekend.
Yeah,
Make it make sense.
tell me about it.
I mean, if you're going to get rid of the guy, if you're going to release the guy, at least have him, you know, I mean, at least put some kind of a storyline element into this. They could have done this as a retirement match. Like if he loses, he has to retire.
Yeah.
Um,
Do
and
it like Daniel Bryant a few years ago.
yeah,
Reports was out obviously about him possibly leaving, and I mean, obviously he wasn't gonna beat Roman Reigns for the title, but like that was more of a, what would you call it? Not a retirement match, but like a way out gracefully, rather than we just get some random Sunday when we preparing for the week and get ready for Monday Night Raw tomorrow, and then we get this news that one of the fan favorites gets released. And I mean, this man is not only a fan favorite, but he's very loved in the wrestling community outside of just us as fans, the
yeah,
wrestlers that have all, I mean, that ride these roads and travel with the man. And I mean, like the onpour of people that have made posts about R-Truth, Ron Killings is amazing. I mean, like, I feel bad a little bit because it feel like when people make posts like that, it's like the person passed away, but
yeah,
um obviously he has not, and I hope that he lives for a very long time. I mean, the man is 53 and he moves like he
yeah,
moves better than most of the wrestlers that been in there for 10 years. So
absolutely. Absolutely. Like
and
I said, he's 53, but he looks like he's 35.
yeah, and it's just devastating, man. I mean, it really is like, because obviously he got released before, right? Or he left, but either way it goes, he came back and it was like, WWE needed him.
They did.
Uh, and especially due to the dark times that the world went through, like with COVID and stuff, he was one of those bright spots in wrestling where it was like he brought a smile to everybody's face. He brought that laughter. He brought the, like, I mean, you can seriously, to be honest, for 3 hours, you could probably make R-Truth do something on Raw for 3 hours and it'd be more entertaining than the actual show itself. I mean, obviously, we have a long list of favorites. I'm sure
Of course, yeah.
one of my biggest favorites is basically him carrying a title that had no business being a title, but he made it into a very relevant title to the point where it was more entertaining than the heavyweight title at the time. Like, where would R-Truth going to end up with that 24/7 title, and who was going to take it away from him?
You mean the 24/7, 365, 129th? Yeah.
11, yeah, that time.
No, yeah, no, the 24/7 title, let's not get it twisted. It was stupid, but R-Truth made it art.
Yeah, he made
Art.
it prestige.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
he made it art. He's like, yeah, he's like a 60-time champion or something like that. I mean, it's absolutely, not like John Cena, eat your heart out.
Yeah, it's like, well, it was in the 40s, 50s, that's for sure.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, something insane like that. But
Obviously they're not going to put it in record books of like, oh, he's the record holder of,
I
world
mean,
title.
yeah, I mean, of course, he's not going to go alongside John Cena and Ric Flair, but it's, yeah,
But he's in a category of his own and well deserving
yeah.
of it. So
Oh yeah, yeah, totally, totally.
yeah.
And and let's not overlook that everybody's creepy uncle Carlito has also gotten released.
Oh, wait.
I don't get
Two
it.
weeks his contract ends, and they don't plan on re-signing him. So
Do you remember the pop that man got at Backlash a couple of years ago when he came back when it was at Puerto Rico? They blew the roof off of that place.
yeah, you know, thought Roman Reigns had showed up.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean Roman Reigns or Pedro Morales or something like that. But I've again, I kind of feel like he was kind of relegated to that creepy uncle character of like, like making fun of Liv's and Dom's sexual tension.
Or Roxanne Perez. Hey man, don't eat them, don't eat those niggas. Don't eat her niggas.
Yeah, Roxanne. I mean, you know, I really feel like it's just getting away from kind of the spirit of pro wrestling.
It is.
I mean,
Yeah.
yes. I mean, yes. We're not talking about, you know, the Dallas Sportatorium in the 70s with the Von Erichs. We're talking about selling out football stadiums for WrestleMania. But at the same time, it's still the same, it's still the same type of entertainment. And I feel like they're really getting away from that. It's like, you know, our mutual friend Jeremy said in our group chat, it's like they're trying to get away from the goofy characters in WWE. Have you noticed we haven't seen Pretty Deadly, the tag team, in a bit?
I've noticed that, and we haven't noticed. Have you noticed? Even though they're on Raw, we haven't seen Otis and Tozawa. Uh, they haven't been featured like they once was, and it just as quote unquote serious as they're trying to be. Wrestling has never been overly serious. Like we've always had some type of serious moment. Uh, you know, a break in between the serious moment. Uh, a lighthearted moment, and then we get back to the seriousness. It's never been like a so-called sports event where everything's serious. Oh, they're playing for the last spot of the playoffs, or this last shot could make the NBA finals or whatever the case may be.
Right.
This is pro. Matter of fact, this is sports entertainment. This is not any like sport. Like this is not a serious sport. This is also art, as you say. It's
Yeah.
entertainment. It's sports and it's entertainment together. So we get the sport aspect of like the athletic, flips and turns and jumps and slams and all this other stuff, but we get the entertainment, which was on truth. Like on truth alone was the entertainment. And then you release him while they doing it looked like they was finna go and do a storyline with him with Jimmy Uso, and like have their little feud with Jimmy Uso and him with Solo and JC maybe. And now that's scrapped.
Ah,
So it's like what this is the weirdest year for us as wrestling fans because the fact of you have so much scrambling going on and nothing makes sense. Nothing absolutely makes sense for our storyline goes. Because now next week we just gonna act like our truth ain't exist, or he just left, or whatever the case may be, or like so Jimmy's on his own. Like they literally did a handshake. They showed it on WWE's Instagram page. Like, yeah, we family, this and that, and
yeah.
then and
Pro wrestling is not supposed to be serious.
no,
But think of this. This is an entertainment medium for one of the most popular characters in the history of the sport of the medium is an undead mortician.
mm,
Okay?
mm,
May I don't understand it. And I'm a smart guy. I've written a lot of books. I know how to tell a great story, but this just makes no sense to me. This just absolutely makes no sense to me because you've got like our truth. Side note, our truth inexplicably blocked me on Twitter. I'll never understand that. But um but he was in the co-main event of a national TV show last week against a first ballot GOAT Hall of Famer in John Cena.
And we can also say R-Truth is a future Hall of Famer too, and obviously not for the same reasons,
You're
but
damn right he is.
but and then the thing is, not only was he in the main event with the well, not was it the main event?
Yeah, it was the co-main event.
It was a co-main event, yes, but he was on the posters like for the show, like it was John Cena, and there was another poster with like him and John Cena, with their face, and his shirt. I don't know how many times we have to like repeat this, but when your shirt is number one in WWEshop.com, that is a big deal. That means fans are over with you. Like they love you. And normally when somebody's like that, like quote unquote Jay Uso, your group is very secure.
You would think.
You would think. But like with this stuff going on now, it's like nobody's safe. And there's so many sources out there. We don't really have the most accurate one, but it is different sources out there that's saying that backstage people are kind of on edge now because they don't know if their job is safe.
Yeah, they're afraid for their jobs. And you've got so many big shows coming up over the course of the summer. You've got big NXT shows. You've got the crossover with AAA and WWE next weekend before Money in the Bank. And we're going to get to talk about Money in the Bank. Let's not overlook that
Right.
because we're both kind of looking forward to this show. But, we can't overlook the fact that you're moving WrestleMania for reasons nobody has explained yet. There's this concept that's been floating around of a quote super WrestleMania going to Saudi Arabia, whatever the hell that means. And you've got, you know, and you're releasing fan favorites like R-Truth, like Carlito. Again, are they main eventers? No, but they're people that the fans love. And not just the fans, but the guys and girls in those locker rooms also love. I mean, it's like you said earlier, some of the posts that I have seen on social media today about R-Truth, it's like, God, did you read his post?
Very,
That,
very heartfelt.
that broke my heart, dude.
Very heartfelt.
I mean, that broke my heart. I wanted to hug the guy and I can't stand
Yeah.
him.
And I
But
mean, like, it's ongoing, like Kevin Owens, et cetera, et cetera. Like, to be honest, if Roman was to post something about our truth, that'd definitely hit because I mean, like, he's one of the biggest stars on the show, like the promotion, and like for him to feel some type of way about our truth, that means a lot. That goes through. And as I was sitting there and you was adequately putting it, when you release fan favorites and like TKO is trying to gut out things about WWE that makes it WWE that really was the main thing outside of the Roman Reigns and the Cody Rhodes and this and that like put them over the edge to get the Netflix deals and blah blah blah. But like at its core, it is a entertainment product, and like it's more and more getting gutted to the point where AEW is starting to look more like wrestling than WWE because of the fact that I mean, needless to say, Tony Khan he definitely does stuff for the fans. Like he brings in things we never would have thought happened, like the Forbidden Door And like, at its core back in the day, at one point, WCW was kicking WWF, but
Mm-hmm.
so, when you start doing things as a business and forget the core qualities of what made that product work, is going to, in my mind, flip the audience to maybe go elsewhere.
Yeah, and that's
And in my and like I mean, you can tell everything they doing or is trying to compete with AEW. Your mind shouldn't even be on AEW. Your mind should be continue to put out product that we as fans love and want to consume. But you're doing all these promotions on the exact same days as AEW, and like the reason why AEW is hard to kind of like keep up with because it's so much on every single day of AEW. Wednesday night, uh, sometimes they'll do something on Thursday night out of the blue, but it's like Wednesday, Friday, then Saturday,
yeah.
and
And then
then Sunday,
yeah, and then
like the
Sunday
big
a lot of times on their pay-per-views. Yeah.
pay-per-view. And the one thing is, if Tony Khan can ever figure this out, how are you going to have a pay-per-view? You get on Prime, but the only thing is it's $10 cheaper. While us, we got Peacock. Peacock's probably $6, $7, and I can watch all the PLEs I want
Mm-hmm.
for way cheaper than what you're trying to sell me on watching a pay-per-view. Then the pay-per-view is 4 to 5 hours long. Brother, most of us have to work the next day. We don't have time to stay up to 12 o'clock at night trying to watch a pay-per-view. And then the pay-per-view, the one time I bought the
Or in
pay-per-view,
my case, 1 in the morning. Yeah.
the one pay-per-view I bought, Ryan, swear to God, I was like, I just basically paid for a glorified regular TV show because everything they did in the pay-per-view was literally the same as watching it on Wednesday night. So I was like, you know what? I'm doing it. The one thing that was good to me, maybe two, but one was definitely the Brian Danielson match with MJF, the Iron Man match.
Yeah,
I was
that
like,
Iron Man, that was a classic.
that was a classic. Yes. Now, if that whole show was kind of like that, I would have been like, you know what? That was a good purchase.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Well, not for nothing. I'm already getting a little depressed enough. Let's talk money. Let's talk about Money in the Bank. Oh, boy. As it stands right now, both the women's match, the women's Money in the Bank match, and the men's Money in the Bank match both have 5 of the 6 slots locked down. You want to talk about those first, or do you want to talk about the tag team match and the women's match?
I feel like it's gonna be more if we talk about the Money in the Bank, you know, winner potentially. So I feel like we can talk about the other matches first.
Yeah, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. So, um, how do you see this Lyra Valkyria Becky Lynch thing ending? Because the stipulation that they have is that it's if Becky loses, she can't challenge for the title anymore, so long as Valkyria is Valkyria. I, that's not easy to say, but as long as Lyra is champion, and I kind of feel like that's almost on the nose for it not to be Becky going over.
Yeah.
I almost feel like it's too obvious.
It is. It is too obvious. But then I'm like, because I have so many of this particular topic finna happen at Money in the Bank. But I feel like when you're in LA, um, Money in the Bank is one of the PLEs that could potentially not necessarily take the spot of the Big Four, but kind of like be included in the Big Four to make it a Big Five.
Hmm.
So you do a PLE in LA, you're doing all this with the stars, obviously all the big stars that are in the wrestling is going to be there. It's going to be a spectacle or whatever. And it's only what 4 to 5 matches, if that,
Four confirmed matches.
4 confirmed matches.
Right.
So with that being said, it's always already going to be kind of a short night, quote unquote, maybe. But you got to have some surprises. You got to have some pops. You got to have some like character, crowd involvement. Like they really are like whoa. So we haven't seen Becky. I mean, not Becky. Excuse me. Sorry. We haven't seen Bailey since what? WrestleMania.
WrestleMania, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
granted,
When
I
they
think
did the
she was
beatdown angle.
I
Yeah.
think she was injured. She probably was taking some time off the hill.
Right.
So now she
And
needed.
if you've seen the videos from the party, how absolutely trash she was, but not judging, not judging. Let off the steam.
Not, not judging.
Yeah.
But I feel like she may come and cost Becky that match. But if she doesn't, then it's kind of like a gimme that Becky's gonna win that match. And then like,
Right.
with the IC title being involved now, she'd definitely be a Grand Slam champion if they want to even include that title
I
as a
mean,
Grand
yeah, I
Slam.
mean, if they even want to go there.
Yeah, if they want to go there. But they will also add on to great Becky's greatness, like, oh no, I'm not she's champion now too. Like, this, that, and the third. Still feel some type of way about Dakota Kai not winning that belt, but uh Lyra has really kind of grown on me a little bit more. I've come around a little bit on her, and I just don't want Becky with that belt because I'm a strong believer of giving the younger talent more feature.
Right.
And with the US title and the IC title, I feel like it should be more of a back in the day. I mean, I don't think they call it anymore, but the IC title has always been the workhorse title.
Yep.
And Lyra has been a workhorse. She's been on the show every single Monday night. She's defended it whenever she has to defend it. So feel like she just should defend it to not saying Becky's old, but like a younger talent, more the talent that needs to be more featured, that needs to be, you know, not not necessarily praised, but it's shown more. It needs to be
Yeah.
shown more to different
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of the whole
levels.
up and coming thing, kind of what they did. And I hate to even bring this up, but kind of what they did with Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair. I mean, Tiffany Stratton, what is she, 25? Charlotte
Yeah.
Flair has been around forever. Um, you know, have Tiffany Stratton, good, bad, or ugly, hold on to that title. And
Like Becky does not need that title. Like she already has
oh,
established herself
doesn't.
as the
She's a
man.
Hall of Famer if she retired tomorrow.
Yeah, she's the man. Like Charlotte is
Yeah,
the queen. Like let Lyra get lose that belt to somebody up and coming. Anybody that has moved up from NXT to the main
right.
roster. Anybody
Absolutely.
that has been kind of like drifting, like not necessarily Natalia, but like in that aspect of
Yeah,
uh Maxine. I mean, obviously, Maxine is definitely not seen as a champion, but something like that, like somebody that's been in this TV spotlight, whatever, and really never been featured like that.
yeah. I definitely, I definitely feel like it's a little too obvious that they have Becky going over, but I can definitely see like a Bailey, run and cost her the title. All right, so that kind of convoluted tag team main event. Let's talk about that a little bit. We've got a team of Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso going up against John Cena and our dear friend Logan Paul. Now, what do you make of that? First of all, the the ending of the ending of SmackDown, the most recent episode of SmackDown. I thought the segment kind of fell flat. but I hate to say this, that might have been Logan Paul's best promo that he's had since he started coming to WWE. Like it was totally like obnoxious, kind of a-hole kind of promo, which is perfect for his character. What do you
Right.
think? But also that started kind of foreshadowing a little bit, maybe some tension between Logan Paul and John Cena.
The reason why I feel like that promo worked is because of John Cena setting that up for Logan Paul. Logan Paul by himself,
The
that
point.
promo would have been absolutely trash. But with John Cena talking him up, telling the crowd why, he believes in Logan Paul, like, Logan Paul is paying your mortgage and blah, 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 blah. He pointed out everything, let's see, I necessarily guess good about Logan Paul. Like, obviously, he's sponsoring WWE with his drink and blah, 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 blah. But I'm kind of on Rikishi side with the whole my son wins the world title. His first defense is Logan Paul. Okay. Can we move on from that? He got Gunther and I mean literally that Monday following Monday in the Bank, right? So
Yeah.
you throw him in a tag match in a PLE, and this is not like a tag match like Cody and Seth versus The Rock and Roman in WrestleMania. This is a
Right.
regular tag match. Just and that blows my mind too. It's a regular tag match as a main event for a PLE, one of the biggest PLEs in recent histories. Like Money in the Bank changes somebody's career, and you
Yeah.
have the main event being a tag match. Now, I pointed this out in the group. We've had discussions about it, you and I said, depending on how Money in the Bank plays out, we may have a new champion that night. And the fact that you have, which is a good tie-in to the matches that we're going to discuss
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
with the man match. Depending on who wins that belt, I mean, excuse me, depending on who wins that briefcase, they can cash in the following, like later on the night at the main event, all hell break loose. Something can happen. You know, could it be John? Could it be Jay? We don't know. But it's the possibility is there. Now, if somebody was smart, I think they probably wait. Kind of like Seth kind of waited. He waited all the way till damn near next year and waited to WrestleMania and cashed in and it became the heist of the century.
Priest, another example of that too. Yeah.
Another example, he waited all. I mean, obviously he had some bumps in the road with Finn, but he eventually cashed in.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is, I'm gonna get back. I'm gonna get back to the match. I get back to the
Right.
briefcase in a
Yeah.
second. Um, that was a big rub, in wrestling term to Logan Paul having John Cena do that,
Yeah.
and we have gave his props. He's phenomenal in the ring.
Yes.
He's still very green, as green as colored it is when it comes to doing a promo.
Mm-hmm.
Being obnoxious definitely comes easy for him. Obviously, being a YouTuber.
Right.
Um,
Just rolling out
is
of
he?
bed for him is obnoxious.
Yeah, just roll out of bed. I mean, and he has every right to be because I mean, he has a drink, he sews, he boxed, this, that, and the third, whatever, whatever. Uh, but I am very interested to see where do we go with Logan Paul because of the fact that my man Karrion Cross dropped a pipe bomb of his own on Raw's podcast, at a post show podcast,
Mm-hmm.
and he literally just went off about his spot in WWE versus somebody that is outside and just comes in and gets handed the keys to the Ferrari and just, and he has every right to feel that way. because of the fact that most of these guys that are in that company, they have worked, clawed, just scraped the bottom, slept in a car, ate, you know, pretty much, not to say they have, but they probably ate some stuff out of garbage can. They got
Mhm.
$5 at we make a joke on the in the group text. I know you like to throw it in something like they have a tornado Texas street fight, and you just be like, hey, okay, appreciate it. You entertainment. His $50 gift card to Chili's in a gas card. But the fact of the matter is, these guys have sacrificed their livelihood to make it
Yeah.
to the top, to make their dreams come true of being in WWE, and then you get this guy that hasn't even wrestled like that, like done what they had to do
Yeah.
to get what, like he had his own struggles to get to where he was. But the simple fact of the matter is, you can't give this man the key to a world title match, and he only had 4 matches.
Yeah. I mean, like so many of these guys have, like the second, third generation guys are going to have a break. I mean, look at Jimmy and Jey Uso. Their father's a Hall of Famer. Solo Sikoa, their father's a Hall of Famer. Roman Reigns, his dad and uncle were both Hall of Famers. Um, you've got a lot of Randy Orton, third generation guy. I mean, you've got a lot of these guys who have like open the door, but you still got to go out there and bust your tail, sleep in your car, eat ramen, get paid $20 and a $10 gift card to McDonald's. I mean, you've got they Logan Paul hasn't paid any kind of dues, and he's
Rubbing shoulders with Roman Reigns in Saudi Arabia for his third match for the undisputed title.
yeah.
You know how many guys would kill for the opportunity just to be featured in a match like that? They know they're gonna lose, but just to be featured in
There
the
are
match.
five guys in the men's Money in the Bank match who would probably say the same thing.
Yeah. And it's only two, what? It's only, let's see, three that are desperate for that opportunity. So I mean, Solo has rubbed shoulders with Cody, and I mean, he has his family, but Penta and LA Knight literally had to go through hell and high water just to get to their spot that they're at.
Mm-hmm.
While Logan comes in, grabs a cup of coffee, and now you're wrestling in the main event with John Cena and Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes. And like I said before, we do give respect where respect is given. And like Logan has things that make him that valuable to be in stuff like that. But it just don't make any sense that this man literally came into the building. His first match was The Miz. His second match is with The Miz, the single match. His first match was a tag team, then it was singles. And then here's a rocket, let's strap it in his back, and he's wrestling Roman Reigns. Like, what?
I mean, doing that ultimately just ridiculous spot that he had with Ricochet at the Royal Rumble a couple of years ago. That's still being replayed on, video packages.
And it's like, like all our fan favorites, the Jeff Hardys, the Roman Reigns, everybody, like they had to go through their dues. Like, I mean, look how long it took Jay to even get considered to be in a singles championship match.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it took him a
Yeah.
while to even get the IC title, and then on top of that, get a world title. It literally took him 10 plus years. And I mean, like, yeah, Logan to get online and be like, oh, you did, y'all can do is talk. Y'all ain't never been in a ring like me, did. But like, come on, bro. We grew up. Everybody grows up watching wrestling, and to see the documentaries on these guys doing what they do, and you with your name literally walks in the door, shake hands with a couple people, and you're in a match for a title.
Make it make sense. Make it
Make
make
it make sense. Does it generate dollars? Yeah, sure. But I've said this in the group, brother. We're not paying to see you. We're paying to see the performers that have been there. Like, I could care less if you're there or not. Like, you're going to do whatever. You're going to sell your prime. You're going to do this or that. You're going to whatever the case may be. And I don't want to rap too much about this because we got other stuff more important to talk
Right.
about. But it's just the fact of you're not that important to the wrestling fans. You leave. It won't ruin anybody's dreams of you being involved in any matches because I could care
Thank
less if
you.
you're in any match of that. If you win the world title, it would devastate wrestling. Yes, John Cena made a very valid point. He win the title, it would ruin wrestling because it's like, what's the point of me waking up? I want to be a WWE superstar. I want to be a world title. This and that. Yeah, you got to start at high school gyms and work your way up, and then this stupid a-hole come here and he gets a title and the right to.
Think you know, think of it like this. Think of it like this. Um, you're a musician, you're coming up in the world. You don't just start playing at Madison Square Garden or Red Rocks Theater. You start playing in a bar for, 5 people on a Wednesday night. Like ZZ Top, Rock and Roll Hall of Famers. Their first gig as ZZ Top over 50 years ago was one guy on a Tuesday night. And they're still going strong over 50 years later. So you got to pay your dues. You got to, uh, let's not go down this rabbit hole too deep
Yeah,
because
yeah. I mean, we can have a
let's
whole
talk
episode
because
about that.
we can do a whole episode on that. But let's talk about these Money in the Bank matches. Now, a couple of weeks ago, we did talk about who would need it the most, like who we think should win it and who needs it. Now, I want to start with the women's match
Okay.
because we've got, and we'll both give our picks here, but already qualified, we've got Alexa Bliss, Roxanne Perez, Rhea Ripley, Julia, Naomi, and the last qualifier is Ivy Nile, Liv Morgan, and Stephanie Vaquer. Now, in my opinion, if they give, and I love Rhea Ripley, but if they give her that briefcase, she can snap her fingers and get a title shot. She doesn't need it.
Mm.
I don't think Alexa Bliss needs it.
Mhm.
I think if they believe in Julia and if they believe in Stephanie Vaquer, like I think they do, one of those two has to win it.
Well, when you were naming out the names, and obviously I knew the last pick was probably going to be Stephanie. Um, Stephanie does have a rocket on her back, and
He does.
it's a shame that she's been moved up to the main roster, and uh, Booker T can't be moved up with her so he can continue
Right.
on with the song. Because
Yeah.
like you said in the previous episode, wrestling, it's about the wrestler in the ring, but people at home that are watching this product, the commentator makes things 10 times better. And
Mm-hmm.
Booker T basically, outside of her being phenomenal in the ring, Booker T added that feature, like you said, he was featuring her, pushing that particular move that we like
Right.
to see. But it just makes it's like watching Jay come out and do it in the Yi. It's like Stone Cold hitting that glass, and he's finna whoop some tail. It's the Rock. If you smile, like it's just something about something that goes hand in hand that makes a beautiful painting. And to me, obviously, they believe in those two women, but secretly, I feel like it's something about Naomi. It's something about her turning heel. It's something about the promos she do. It's something about that work she been doing, like social media wise, as far as like always continuously coming back at Jay. Like, we lost our truth, but you should have been one to go. Like it only will further her more as a heel and push the narrative of her being a heel. That I'm in that weird space where, like, obviously I don't like certain heels, but certain things make sense. And with Naomi winning that Money in the Bank, it makes sense
I could
because
absolutely buy that. Yeah.
turn around and sacrifice all this because of you, Bianca. I did this for you. I did this, and then you turn your back on me. So now I'm finna focus on me now, right? And you know, obviously, mommy don't need it. Rhea Ripley don't need it because she can snap her fingers, be in the match. But the simple fact, she's so hot, not physically, not saying that, but like, mommy in the bank, right? There's so many things like could be put with the
Yeah.
bank, but Naomi winning that briefcase makes more sense to me. And that's my pick. Now my dark horse pick will probably be because now that I think about it, Perez is in it, and if Stephanie don't win it, obviously it's gonna be Liv. And then that starts a beef between them two over Dom. So they can eliminate them out the factor.
Hmm.
Then Alexa, obviously she don't need it, but then like a small part of me in my head, now hear me out, okay? Alexa, obviously, she loves she loves Bray Wyatt like we do. So and
Yeah.
she has a very close relationship. So just imagine her with that briefcase, okay? And the Wyatt Six, they made a appearance on SmackDown. Obviously, they're going for the tag team titles. It seems like. And Uncle Howdy was talking about, we're coming for basically what we deserve.
Hmm.
So when that pushed the narrative of that group being very strong by not only taking the tag titles, having uh Alexa kind of be warped back into that world, and now they have the briefcase. And then you have your two women, Nikki and Alexa, and then they can go after the women's title, right? The women's title has been kind of like, you know, floating, whatever, yeah, they would live in what's the name?
Raquel.
Raquel. And it's been kind of 'cause I mean, when the last time they fought defending those belts, you know? So then you have, I mean, the only thing left would be okay, the tag titles, the women tag titles, and then I mean you could possibly get the women title if you wanted it. You could possibly get Uncle Howdy to get the we're not gonna say the world title. I mean not the undisputed title, but we could probably say the US title if it's not on Jacob anymore. Obviously there's
Sure.
Jacob
Yeah, I
ain't
mean
scared of nothing.
that's another thing. Yeah, that's another
Yeah,
thing.
Jacob ain't scared of nothing. You put the lights off, he probably like, oh man, like hey, this ain't happening to me. But so so like eventually when it comes up with Jacob, I can see them I can see them going for the US title. Trying to make that faction strong because I want the White Six to work. I want that to work
Absolutely.
because it just all of us are invested in that because of what Ray started. So I want that to continue on.
And his story just ended way too young.
And ended way, way too young. He was going somewhere magnificent with it. And we just we're never gonna get that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
but that's my two picks for the
Yeah,
women.
I can certainly see that. I think it I, I just feel like Julia may have, that there may be something to that, Julia.
She was looking at what you call it last Friday night. She was looking at a US title. So that kind of veered me off of her winning the Money in the Bank because I'm like, okay, they don't necessarily have a backstage altercation like that unless they are
Right.
foreshadowing, like our favorite word to say in this pod, foreshadowing something going on with that. Which
And to be
another
fair,
thing
and yeah,
that plays into what I said about the Knicks. Going into younger talent, like the you know, what's the current title? Uh Vega, Zelina,
Zelina, yeah.
Zelina, and the Julians and the what you call it, the worlds where. they
Yeah.
get featured more as a champion.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and almost like, you know, like how old is Lyra? Like I don't think she's
I
30.
think she's like 27, 26,
Like
something.
27, 28, something like that. I
Something. I
mean,
had to look it up.
because so like historically, right?
Yeah.
Historic, you've got so many people, like so many like intercontinental champions have almost been like a test to see if they can hold the big belts.
28.
28, okay. Um, but just kind of a test to see if they can hold the big belts.
And if
Gun-
crowd's gonna be
Gunther
involved with it.
Gunther is a perfect example of that. That they kept the Intercontinental title on him so long, and then you know the less we say about his actual heavyweight championship reign, the better. Because I've said that it's just weak. But my point is that you can use those mid card titles to to see what a Roxanne Perez could do, to see what a Stephanie Vaquera could do on the main roster. But yeah, I feel like I'm kind of feeling like Julia, um, and kind of my 1B is Naomi. I mean, I feel like just with your argument, it makes perfect sense because she's still tied in with that Jade Cargill storyline. She's hot as hell right now on the mic, on social media, her character work, like you know,
And
she
it depends because now Nia Jackson's involved in that, and it's kind of like a weird, I don't know, fatal 5-4 way thing that with Nia Jackson, Jade, and Bianca, and Naomi, and then obviously Tiffany is the champion, but it's it's very necessary. It adds more excitement into the title hunt, while Raw is kind of like kind of dying down a little bit. Like, I mean, no disrespect to Io Sky, but it's like after a big win at WrestleMania, she's kind of been posted, and there's no real. It's kind of weird for me to even say this, but it's no real threat to her losing that title. I mean, obviously, mommy's always going to be involved, and it is, as much as I hate to say it, she's kind of on that level now where she's like Charlotte, where she don't have to be featured in a match or like do anything to qualify for anything because she's going to always be involved and put in that match. So it's like, oh, oh no, I'll be back. Okay, you move. But yeah, just she's always gonna be involved. So it's like it's really no need for her to have that money in the bank. And then, you know, those two are definitely, we wouldn't bat an eye. I'll be kind of like disappointed in them two winning it. And it's kind of weird because it's like whoever wins the women, we're not mad.
no.
But when it comes to the man though, I have some strong feelings about that.
Well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. All right. So Solo Sokoa. These
Yep.
are who already in. Got Solo
Already in,
Sokoa,
yes.
LA Knight, Penta, Seth Rollins, Andrade, which kind of surprised me, honestly. And we've got a last chance qualifier between AJ Styles, CM Punk, and El Grande Americano. Now, in my opinion, El Grande Americano, just take him out
Yeah.
because
Eliminate him altogether.
Chad Gable has that match at that AAA thing earlier that day. So
Mhm.
forget about him. But just to kind of your point, AJ Styles and CM Punk, why are they in this? And I've got no problem with either one of those guys. Still, they're two of my favorites of the last 20 years. What are they doing in the Money in the Bank match? I mean, this is like the time when they had Ric Flair in the Money in the Bank match. It makes no sense. God, I've said that enough today.
Let me ask you this, There's, there's a lot of things about WWE now that doesn't make any sense. If you have Paul Heyman,
You think? You think?
if you have Paul Heyman pull strings to where Sammy can go to SmackDown and get a title match, but you can't even get Seth Rollins a title match against Jey Uso at Money in the Bank as a main event or a co-main event or whatever the case may be, he has to qualify. He has to first of all qualify and then get in the Money in the Bank to get the briefcase. It doesn't make any sense. One. Number
Yeah.
two, even if okay, why did CM Punk wait so long to come out and beat up Seth Rollins? If you hate this man so bad, why would you allow him to even win that qualifier match? Okay, so now that takes my early prediction of Finn getting it. So that's off the books. That just killed that episode. So now, which my choice, which I think I discussed this with you before, they in LA, so it only makes sense. And just the the necessity of that briefcase. The real reason of that briefcase is to propel somebody to stardom, right? This man is already has a little bit of stardom. He's right there
Yeah.
with the J. He just need that rocket to take off like Jay is
Mm-hmm.
LA Knight. He's a hometown hero. Him winning that briefcase will really just change his whole thing. Like the man is on the what's the snack? Slim Jims. He's on the Slim Jims.
Yeah.
He's literally, basically obviously in that realm of will he start doing movies and stuff like everybody else, basically. But
Sure.
and I mean he don't have any more time left. It's not like he's getting any younger. So
Right.
um it just makes sense. It makes more sense to me far as LA Knight winning it because I mean Penta, don't get me wrong, I love Penta. He's I mean, since he came to WWE, it's crazy how much I mean like how nuclear he is. But he'll be fine without it. He can go
Yeah.
after the IC title and get it from Dom. Like he has other
Or
options.
team up with his brother for the tag team
Or
title.
team up with his brother. Yes, thank you. And Seth. Obviously, you got too many heads after you. You got too many. You got Seth. I mean, excuse me. You got CM Punk. You got Sami Zayn. I mean, you got Jay, obviously. And then you got the big dog, quote unquote, the tribal chief. We're in LA. And once again, it comes back to what I was saying about, we need that big, huge pop. I mean, Roman has been working on projects in LA. So
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't it be a shocker to like Seth is going up for the briefcase? And then all you hear is or or could we get our throwback and have Delta Alpha, the shield in it? I mean, that'd be crazy.
I mean, we're not going to see. I mean, too bad we can't see John Moxley come out, but I I dig
That'd
it.
be wild too.
That would be well. Um, I'm kind of in agreement. I feel like Andrade is there just for the spots.
It's just different spot. Yeah.
Um,
Solo's gonna get interfered by Jacob. I already feel it. I
so
just feel it.
Solo and Jacob are gonna, get into it, and we're
Which is well deserved because you ain't
finally.
finna mimic. You ain't finna mimic our boy and just think you finna get away with it. I mean, you seen last Friday night he was just doing like all that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
No, yeah. Oh, all gas, no brake with it. I mean, but LA Knight, I definitely, yeah, I'm kind of with you. I kind of feel like he makes sense. Um, Seth makes no sense,
I mean,
especially considering.
storyline wise, I can understand because I mean, obviously he's the
Yeah,
future of the, but it's like you've already had the money in the bank. Like you don't need that money in the bank. You obviously going to be featured in that match for the belt, like throughout summer and fall and whatever. So it's like you don't need that money in the bank.
you don't. I mean, Seth Rollins is one of those guys who can snap his fingers and get a title match,
Yeah, you literally have the wise man
just
on your
like Rhea
side.
Ripley. Yeah,
So
just like Rhea
yeah, you got to.
Ripley, and you've got freaking Paul Heyman and Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. You know,
Yeah,
both. Yeah, I mean,
you can literally beat Adam Pierce for a match. Like, hey, you don't give me a match, I'm gonna have Bronson tsunami you 50 times. Like
and then you're gonna eat a spear from Braun Breaker.
from Braun Breaker. So it's like
All right. So before we wrap this up, I gotta ask, um, just to kind of piggyback on what you said earlier about possibly having a cash in. I feel like there would be a lot to be said if the men's money in the bank match is the first match on the card and who wins the men's money in the bank. Because when they did that with Liv Morgan a few years ago, it made perfect sense because that match, the women's money in the bank match, led that show off. And
it
who
was Ronda
yeah,
Rousey
and she
and
cashed in on Ronda. She cashed in
yeah,
on
she
Ronda,
cashed it.
right? Yeah.
Yep, she cashed it on Ronda. Yep.
Um, it just made perfect sense, and the crowd just went nuclear.
Yeah.
I think that, um, and L.A. Knight has beef with has beef with Logan Paul has beef with John Cena. If LA Knight wins the money in the bank, I think we can be on the edge of our seats for a possible cash in. I don't know if it happens, but I think we could. If Solo Sikoa wins, that's not going to happen, by the way. But if Solo Sikoa wins,
I can't see the way they've been with him and Jacob. They kind of for
right?
him
Yeah,
just
but
Jacob
I'm
taking
just saying you could have him go after his brother.
yeah, yeah, that's true.
Um, what makes sense? What makes sense?
To be honest, 5 years ago, if you would ask me this question, I probably would have said, uh, Self Solo, uh, and then LA Knight.
Yeah,
But to be honest, I mean, really, I really don't know. I mean, I had it right there, just on the tip of my tongue, but the thing that makes sense to me personally is it's all in right in the wall. Is they in LA?
yeah,
Um, you want to kick off the night. It's all about the header. That really sets the tone for the rest of the PLE, excuse me. Um, and I believe that it just makes sense for LA Knight. He's been coasting lately. Obviously not getting the US title back again, and he's been kind of in the back burner a little bit, but fans are
hmm
still like gravitating to him, and he's still everything about LA Knight makes sense as far as like a superstar, a champion at that. Um, to say his US title reign was kind of like propel him for the world title, I would say, eh, but it wouldn't hurt him. Um, which title would he go after? That's a good question. Now, that would be crazy if he got the money in the bank and he cashed in on John Cena. But with WWE, I mean, they have really shown they shown their cards a lot. Uh, they say this a lot when it comes to Money in the Bank. They always say women 100%. Anybody that wins that women's Money in the Bank, it's 100% guaranteed that you're gonna win that
Hmm.
belt.
Yeah.
Men, we dropped to 80%. So
Thank you,
is it
Austin
possible?
Theory. Yeah.
Exactly. Is it possible that LA Knight wins that he wins that briefcase and he go cash in on one of the two world title champions? Possibly. But we've seen the briefcase being used for the US title very weirdly multiple times. And I'm very kind of like what was the whole purpose of having the money in the bank for the man if you're gonna cash in for a mid card title? Like everybody dreams of being the champion, like the face
Right.
of the franchise. So why would Austin Theory, which I'm sure this is not his decision, it was the old man's decision, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Because Roman was so heat, like Roman was the guy. So there ain't no way in the world you gonna sit here and cash in on Roman. It makes no sense. Um, so he had to go for the US title, which he, failed to do. Baron Corbin, you know, he failed to do. So, and this will suck too. This will really suck because it makes so much sense. It's a Hollywood story basically. The LA Knight back in Hollywood wins the briefcase, goes try to cash in, and then boom, somebody sponsors him to cash in. That can happen.
It
Once
could.
again,
It
that
could.
plays into the storyline of John Cena roaring and wrestling. So, all right. Oh my God, it just came in my mind. Okay, think about this, right? Tag team match. Everybody's all hell breaks loose. Okay,
Mhm.
Uso and Cody wins. Right? John freaks out. They fight. Boom, 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 boom. Uh, the fight breaks out in the crowd. Logan done ran off. Jade chases him. Cody's fighting John, and I don't know. Somehow they both knock each other out or whatever. Here comes LA Knight music playing. Boom. Everybody's hyped. We're on the edge of our seats. Oh my God, is he gonna do it? He gives the ref the briefcase. The ref rings the bell. It make it a I don't know triple threat now. I guess I don't know how in the world Cody. And then that's another thing. He does that and it makes it a triple threat. So either two options. Well, actually three. LA Knight wins that belt. Cody wins that belt. Or John gets DQ'd. Well, no, if you make it a triple threat, then it won't be a DQ. But somehow he makes it a one-on-one match with him and LA Knight, and then John Cena disqualifies himself and basically causes LA Knight that briefcase. Because then no one has ever in the history of the Money in the Bank cash-ins have ever just gotten this contract, right?
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so.
So what if John was to do that? The ref, ding, 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 ding. They're fighting, or whatever. John just instantly goes for the nut, and kicks LA Knight right in front of the ref. Boom. They're your dream of being a champion.
Or smacks him in the head with the belt.
Or smashing him in the head with a belt. One of the two.
All right.
I mean, by the way, WWE, you can send a check to
Right. Right.
you can send it to
Uh,
my cash. But
yeah. And give us a job on creative. But
well, yeah,
yeah, but yeah, I think, you know, I'm definitely looking forward to the show.
I am too.
And
Most definitely.
I hope with everything that I have that we can actually talk about the show next week instead of some BS that's going on in the wrestling business.
And I pray and hope that it's not a letdown like these past two PLEs been. I wouldn't say Saturday night main event was let down. I mean, we already expected that to go how it went, but backlash and you know, uh,
Night two of
WrestleMania night
WrestleMania,
two.
night two of
Yeah.
WrestleMania, yeah. Yeah.
So hopefully it's worth watching like the last part of main Money in the Bank. But is any indication of John Cena he's been doing a good job of ruining wrestling, like he said. So,
Exactly. Exactly. Well, you want to do this again next week?
oh yeah, always.
All right, my brother. Well, thank you so much for listening and watching the Wrestling Roundtable, presentation of Royal Hearts Media. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and tell a friend, because we're starting to get a little bit of traction on our Facebook page, and can't wait to see where this show goes.
Oh, and quote unquote, any fans of Stranger Things, we finally got a date, November 26th, part one.
All right.
Final season. I got my Hellfire Club shirt on right now. I'm very excited. So there you go.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. I don't know the reference, but you enjoy it. For Dom, I'm Ryan. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. And until we eat again, let's have some justice for little Jimmy, shall we? Take care.